Okay, there are other ways, because people can't carry computers everywhere, and chronic pain does strike the fault lines of society, and sometimes those who don't have a high income may have lesser access to computers. These are flashcards, easy to make, and all they are images of left and right hands. Our patients carry them like a pack of cards, and they might play games like, in the bottom right-hand corner, simply taking a pile of cards and putting the left on the left side and the right on the right side. And then somebody who knows their left and right, hopefully, can write on the back L or R. In the top right-hand corner there, that's playing the game of memory. I think you play that here too, where you take some cards. So instead of playing with a pack of cards, we play with left and right particular images of the hand. This is noughts and crosses in the top right-hand corner. Good old noughts and crosses, but instead of the nought and the cross, we play with left and right. And the ultimate game is in the top left-hand corner. In Australia, we call it fish. And it is, have you got the left hand of that? It's obviously quite a challenge, but some of them get to it. And there are other games you can play. This is what we call the zoo and who technique, and it's widely used. Now, you don't have some of these magazines here, but what we do is we ask a patient, or we supply, to get some magazines. And we ask them to get a magazine they like and a magazine they don't like. So a person who likes to go fishing might take the fishing magazine. Zoo magazine has got people with their clothes off, but it's not too bad. But some people don't objects to context enriching it, doing activities in different contexts. Now, the basic program, in a simple sense here, is initially it's watch another person's body part in a certain posture. And it could be as simple as getting a patient when they're sitting on the bus or doing something to look around and find a left arm and just watch it. Just watch it. That could go on to the imagery, which is consider what it must feel like to have a body part in a certain position. So they try and imagine their body part in that position. It can then progress to watching another person move and then imagining the movement. Consider what it must feel like to have a body part doing a certain movement. This can be quite exhausting to some patients in ongoing pain states. And progress it to consider what it must be like to manipulate an object or watch another person do it. And finally, consider what it's like to move like a certain person. So I would tell a patient, is there someone you really admire? The Americans might be a Michael Jordan or one of your sports people here. Imagine you're that person for a period of time. Of course, you can do all this watching and imagery via magazines, watching movies, on the bus, at work, at home, in the clinic, using the recognised program where people just get images coming up at them and they imagine their own body position in that part, flashcards, etc. The final part of the GMI program is mirror therapy. It's quite simple, really. All you need is a box with a mirror on it. The mirror is the easy part. The hard part, which you should all have skills, is grading the movement, keeping them compliant, telling them what it's all about, educating them. So, here we have a mirror. Where's Morton? Come up and bring your mirror, Morton. It's over on the table there. So you make a mirror box, and you can do this however you want. This one here's a simple triangle. Oops. This one here's a simple triangle, but you can get a beer carton if you want. The Heineken seems to work a little bit better, we've noted, over in Europe. And we like people to have a good quality perspex here. There are some out there that people use, and you need to know that if the mirror is not thick and it bows a little bit and makes the limb bigger than they think it is, it'll increase the pain. This needs to be a good quality thing. Okay. We also like it to be collapsible because people using these frequently need to take them home to work. In fact, we have some people who've been on these for years now as they have found it to be the only thing that can ease pain in some of the nasty neuropathic pain states. So we'll get Morton to put his hand in here, his right hand in here. So what's basically happening, the right hand here is the problematic hand, or it could be a phantom. You can move a phantom. You can easily move a phantom and usually try and get it in the box. And then the hand on the other side, Morton's now seeing the reverse image, so his brain is essentially seeing his left hand. Okay, a few more thoughts about it. You've got to prepare the patient. We have no data on this yet, but I'm convinced that a patient who understands that what you're trying to do is to reconstruct a little slight smudgy hand in the brain will do a lot better. A patient who can understand what they're trying to achieve. And if you understand the neuromatrix paradigm and a little bit of smudging that we'll discuss tomorrow, then I think patients will easily take it on, because you can often give it with a story that this is changeable. Things can happen. You have to sit evenly or stand evenly. Either sit or stand nice and evenly. Can you see that, Morton? Yep. You've got lovely hands. No jewellery. You've got to take the jewellery off. You must make the illusion as complete as possible. Although, if Morton perhaps wore a ring on this hand in here, but had to take it off because it was too swollen, or he didn't have a hand, you could put it back on this side, couldn't you? We call that going back to old, uncontaminated neurosignatures in the brain. Initially, our view is, and other people have different views, that in the progression, we get the patient to forget the hand in the box. So it's just left there and forgotten. And initially, all of the work is here. But I'll give you some examples of alternative thinking in a moment. Morton can then do with the hand here a series of graded activities, like looking at the hand, turning it up and down, flattening it on the table, flattening the hand and taking some weight through it, moving individual fingers, Morton, tapping your fingers, increasing strength. Then we might even introduce tools, screwdrivers, nail cutters, etc. Maybe even the clinician's hand. But you all have patients where they haven't let anybody touch their hand for 1 year. And if you suddenly introduce your hand here and touch it, we've seen numerous patients freak out. It's too much for them. The brain can't quite handle it. You have to sneak up on them. And in some, it's even just going in and carefully going around his hand before the brain will accept it. You can also touch the face in the mirror. Lean forward and put your hand on the face. For those of you who remember your homuncular structure, the hand is near the face. And we think this is a worthwhile thing to do in the mirror as well. It's critical also, when you understand the neuromatrix paradigm, to take on the power of context. There are many, many ways in which we can change context. For example, any of these activities here, Morton could do in different places, at home, at work. Can you see if he lost his hand in a traumatic accident, doing this next to the machine that cut it off would not be a good thing to do? You can go safe to feared. Different emotions. Most people say, if you're feeling a bit down, don't do your exercises. That's not true. In brain science, this now offers you a great chance to do some brain reconstruction with a bit of extra glutamate and other more emotional neurons firing. The word is, it'll give you a richer representation, richer context to run in. We do it distracted, do it in balance, play music, do it with clothes on, do it in the nude, use metaphors, open hand to free the bird, free the bird, free the bird, drop the egg, drop the egg. Beautiful. You can add different smells and noises, whatever you like.